gentlemen, what is going on? Webby Webb here, talking up sports. Steelers talk with John Reynolds. John, you know what time it is. It's Steelers talk.
Yes, sir, Mark. It's time for that black and gold, fresh off of our visit to the NFL draft down in Nashville. But, yeah, right here we're going to do some draft recaps, so let's just hop right in there, Webby Webb.
Man, John, the Steelers, they made me proud this past week at the NFL draft. And, like, from 1 through 7, nothing really caught my eye in a bad way, to say the least. You know, starting with trading up to get the man himself, Devin Bush, out of University of Michigan.
Yes,
the
sir.
linebacker stud, 234 pounds. Hey, what are your thoughts on Bush, man?
Hey, man, with Shazier going down and we losing that impact-type player at the middle linebacker position, it's a heavy loss to our team. But I think this guy here, Devin Bush out of Michigan, can make up for the fact of Shazier's loss. We were down there in Nashville, man, and we seen the trailers move up. Our excitement just built in that moment, and we knew that each of us wanted Devin Bush to come to Pittsburgh. And now that we got this young fella, man, he's 234-pound linebacker, he's versatile, instinctive. He's a 4.4 speed, so he brings the same type of speed that Shazier did when he was healthy. And also, you had him with guys like Mark Barron that we signed in the offseason, has safety-type speed, and also plays the middle linebacker position. So Devin Bush is going to make a big impact on this defense. He already has. They've already cut John Bostic in place, and they're replacing Devin Bush. So this guy's going to be Pro Bowler in my mind.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year, maybe defensively, we never know. But this guy's going to make an impact day one for sure.
Without doubt, Kevin Colbert and Coach Tomlin, they both believe that he is the man for this job, and he brings that tenacity to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and that's what you need with that defense. You have the front, you have the front line, and you have the linebackers as well. He's going to add that, tenacity. And one thing I did, I liked, he said, in one of his interview with Pittsburgh Steelers, I can cover, I can blitz, I can play the run, play the pass. I can pretty much do it all. And he's really committed, to say the least.
And he comes from an NFL pedigree to his father. Devin Bush Sr. was an NFL safety for 8 years. So he's got that in his bloodline. So he's going to only just apply it in Pittsburgh in that black and gold.
Like you said, bloodline goes a long way. Yeah. So we talked about Bush, so within that means we took away our second round pick. But that's okay. Moving on to the third round, the 66 overall pick, Deontay Johnson, wide receiver out Toledo. Honestly, I believe this is AB's replacement, and you can probably account to this as well. Talk a little bit about him.
Yeah, Deontay Johnson, man, pretty much has the same type of skill set that AB brought. It's similar in schools, too. AB went to Central Michigan. Deontay Johnson is from Toledo, so it's both players both from the MAC. Johnson is 5'10", also has punt return and kick return skills like AB brought in his first few seasons. Didn't return his punts as much in the last couple years, but Johnson has that capability. He's naturally gifted pass catcher, has really good hands, quicker than fast, okay? Now, I don't want people to read into this saying, man, he's slow, he's this, that, and the other.
5'3".
Yeah, I don't want people to read into that and be like, he's not as fast vertically. Brown wasn't the fastest guy. There was reports of Shazier beating Brown in a foot race, just straight line foot race. Johnson is quicker than fast. So when he makes his cuts on his routes and runs his routes proficiently, it seems like he's moving at a faster speed than he actually runs. So this guy is one of those shifty kind of guys like Brown was that'll make a lot of plays for Big Ben. And you pair him with guys like Switzer and Eli Rogers, and you have Juju there still. James Washington's going to have a big year. We signed Moncrief. Our wide receiver position is bolstered with this pick. Ooh. So I'm really looking forward to see this guy make an impact on special teams and just offensively, possibly in a slot or something like that with Big Ben throwing to him all year long.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how he shapes out this preseason as well. I believe they're going to throw him out there, let him get loose on kickoff returns and, punt returns and stuff like that. Because like I said, being 5'10", that speed, you can get lost. Kind of reminds me of, a little bit of T.Y. Hilton to an extent. So I'm really excited about that pick. Any last thoughts on?
Well, it's just guys like Johnson. He was a good prospect coming to this draft, but he wasn't one of the highly touted receivers. You talk about the two guys out of Ole Miss, A.J. Brown and Metcalf. Those guys were big, highly touted receivers. You had a couple other guys, N'Keal Harry, Paris Campbell, Hollywood Brown. But this guy here kind of fell to the Steelers in our lap pretty much in a sense. Like I said, small school guy. Sometimes those guys transfer well to the NFL. Sometimes they don't. But this guy, like I said, has the same kind of pedigree as AB did coming out of Central Michigan. I think he'll make a difference consistently throughout the year.
And I believe, last thought on him, I believe, having mentors like Juju and company,
Right.
I believe that'll be definitely a big factor for him.
Right.
Now, John, this next pick right here, this absolutely blew my mind. I was so excited about this pick. This is honestly one of my favorite picks that the Steelers made. Justin Lane, cornerback out of Michigan State, 6'2", 192 pounds. Hey, he's a dog. He's a straight out. He's the real deal. He's the real deal. How did he fall to the third round? Offers Big Ten.
I know there was a lot of guys like Greedy Williams and bigger name defensive backs coming out of the SEC. A lot of SEC cornerbacks coming out this year. But guys like Charles Davis and Louis Riddick said that this guy, Justin Lane, could possibly be the best defensive back to come out of this draft in a couple of years' time.
That's facts.
You give this guy time to develop under Joe Hayden, an all-pro cornerback. Steven Nelson, one of the league leaders in interceptions last year. He coming to us from the Chiefs. You put this guy as your cornerback number 3, and you still have Artie Burns, who we drafted out of Miami.
Well, it talks about him almost bye-bye.
Yeah, he's on the outs possibly, but you got guys like this who's inevitably can be a first-round type talent, and you're getting him at the third round at the 83rd pick overall. I'm excited about it. Terrell Austin, one of our secondary coaches, said he didn't think he'd be around that long, and they didn't think he'd be there. So for him to be there and them to select him, add him with guys like Devin Bush and a couple of our late-round picks on our defensive side of the ball, this is just bolstering us in many ways. He can also say he can play some special teams, so if you get that much value out of a guy in the third round, you're winning the game at the draft. So this is a good pick for the Steelers.
And John, Pittsburgh assistant Terrell Austin even said that they were surprised that he fell that much because everyone knew Steelers were going to, if they would have settled at 20, it was all about taking risk. And that's one thing I like about the Pittsburgh Steelers. When you make these type of risks, this shows that you're ready to compete.
Right.
When you trade up, you're willing to sacrifice a second-round draft pick, for the future of your defense. And that's what we really struggled on this year. Was our defense necessarily, at the cornerback position? Because, honestly, we know we were going Byron Murphy first round.
Right.
Honestly, that's what we were kind of set on, cornerback. But I think that this move with Justin Lane, at getting him at the third round, now we got this guy that has a chip on his shoulder because this guy, he thought he was going to be called, night one, round 2. So it's like when you have those type of things, hey, it's definitely. I'm eager to see what's going on, to say the least, man.
Yeah, and you see guys like in the mock drafts, they had Steelers selecting guys like Byron Murphy, Greedy Williams if he was there. So Lane, like you said, is going to have that chip on his shoulder because he knows he's just as talented, and a lot of analysts are saying he's just as talented as any of the first round selections at the quarterback position. So this is just a big win for the Steelers.
When you have height and you have speed and you have versatility and strength. Benching over 250 pounds, Rexman repping roughly, 25 times. I've seen that on Instagram, his Instagram Live. The guy's a flat out stud. Hey,
now let's move on to this round 4 pick, Mark, because I know we were excited about this one.
This is another.
Let you take that away,
this is definitely another one. Benny Snell Jr. I'm excited. I had a chance to interview Benny Snell at his time at University of Kentucky. I just believe this is another steal for Pittsburgh. This a fan favorite. Snell, I believe the reason why Benny might have been drafted so late because of his performance at the NFL Combine. But I mean, we got a steal, and I don't even know. I'm lost for words because he is definitely going to make an impact for this team. People are like, oh, he's a 4th round. He's going to fight his position. No, Benny's going to find a way on that field. That's one thing I know about Benny.
And the thing about Benny too, he's going to bring a lot of energy to that locker room. You see the things that he did at UK. He brought a lot of hype to the team. And then you got him. He's not going to have a whole lot of pressure on him. You got guys like James Conner. You also have Jalen Samuels in the fold at the running back position. So when you have Benny Snell coming in there, you're looking at possibly a goal line guy, a guy that's going to make a lot of contributing plays to the Steelers. And like you said, he fell to the 4th round. It was kind of where he was projected to go, was mid-round because of his speed. He's not going to blaze anybody with speed. He's not real shifty. He's hard-nosed. He's between the tackles type of guy. And he's just a really good compliment to James Conner.
Yep.
But what I like about it, too, we mentioned pedigree earlier. His father, Benny Sr., spent time with the Ravens and played in the XFL.
Too, Matt, Snell.
His uncle as well. So even his father can probably tell him a little bit about that AFC North vibe. He played with the Ravens. He knows what kind of is going on with the Ravens and the Steelers there. But what I see, I'm going to throw this out there, Mark. This may be a little bit of a stretch. And he's a little bit more athletic than the guy that I'm going to compare him to. But he's a Steelers great, okay? I could see Benny possibly getting that bust
yes,
kind of
sir.
vibe.
I knew you were going to say it, John. Give me some dap on that right there. Yes, I was going Hey, that's it right there, man.
Because Jerome Bettis is never been the fastest guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's usually been the biggest guy. He's going to bowl people over. Benny Snell is a bigger guy. He's not the fastest, but he's got that Steelers-type pride instilled within him that this guy is just going to make plays. You put Connor out there, he's not the most electric guy on the field either,
Man.
but he may have a little bit more athleticism than Benny does. But you pair them two together, and then you have a third back in Jalen Samuels, who adds a little bit more of that athletic threat. You got three guys that are going to be on the field in and out. Our offense is so prolific right now. You're going to have so many moving and changing
Very
parts,
versatile.
man. But this guy, if he plays anywhere near the level that Jerome Bettis did, the bus baby, I'll be very satisfied. And that's kind of where I see this guy going. Maybe possibly even a Franco Harris type vibe, another running back that we've had in the past who is kind of a bigger, bulkier guy. So I'm happy because I'm a huge Kentucky fan and I love Benny Snell, yeah, baby. But I'm glad that he's in Pittsburgh, and I think this is where he wanted to be. His family seemed like they were hyped to be there. Like this is the kind of the destination that he envisioned himself being, and he's going to take that 2-6 away from Le'Veon.
He can have that 2-6, and I believe this 2-6 is going to be loved.
Yeah,
like it's and honestly, Connor, man, you got somebody on your back that is out to prove something.
Right.
Oh, they said he might not be the fastest, but hey. 3rd and 4, I'm giving it to Benny, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to Benny, but like I said, so we got the number 122nd overall pick, Benny Snell, running back, Kentucky. So let's move on to round 5. 141 overall pick, Zach Gentry, tight end out of Michigan. Okay, we sticking with Michigan. This is the replacement, right? Talk a little bit about Zach.
Okay, so we lost Jesse James this offseason to Detroit. We still have tight ends Vance McDonald and Xavier Grimble in the fold. So we draft Zach Gentry, okay? This guy's 6'8",
yes,
former quarterback, transferred to the tight end position at Michigan, made his mark there. But like they said, they feel like he struggled to get off blocks at the collegiate level. He has a lot of potential, and he is naturally athletic. Yeah. If you can go from the quarterback and easily transition to tight end and be able to catch as many passes as this guy did, he said he's definitely going to develop as an offensive weapon at the next level. Yeah. But like I said, this guy isn't going to have a lot of pressure on him either, just like Benny Snell. You got guys ahead of you like Vance McDonald, the bionic stiff arm. I mean, he's going to be throwing everybody away. Xavier Grimble is an athletic tight end who I think is going to have a pretty good year. I think he's going to step up, get a lot more receptions. He's going to have that kind of tight end to quarterback connection that Ben always has had. And then you throw a guy like Zach in there, man. He's 6'8". If you just want him to stick him on the end and let him block people, I mean,
they'll find a way for him.
He's a naturally athletic guy, and if that's your number 3 tight end, this is a steal in the draft in round 5, really, because this guy's going to do nothing but get better. He's athletic, like we said, 6'8". He's got the size, and there's not a lot of pressure on him, so he's going to make big plays.
Yeah, and I believe he'll have enough time to learn the offense as well with Ben and company. It's all gonna work out. Preseason will definitely have the ability to see how these players mesh up with guys like even Rudolph. Gives a chance with Rudolph to step in there, quarterback, and throw a little balls to him. So,
and a thing that I mentioned to you before when we were talking about Gentry and the selection in round 5, this kind of throws back to Antoine Randall L., who was a college quarterback, high school quarterback, and he come out. He was a wide receiver. Having Gentry around, a guy who has got experience at the quarterback position, we may throw some flea flickers in there, man.
Exactly.
There may be a little trick plays up this guy's sleeve. And like you said, pairing him with Rudolph, having that kind of young tandem making its way through the ranks, inevitably going to take over because McDonald's going to get older. Ben's getting older. So this is just the next wave, man. This is the young Steelers moving their way up. But, yeah, we may see a little toss outside of the tight end in the backfield and let him throw a deep ball down to Juju or something like that. Man. You never know. We have all of our areas covered, man. And Gentry, man, he's just an athletic specimen at 6'8".
John, 6'8", like you said, Gentry, and like I said, a lot of these, like even Snell, like this could be the new Wildcat. You never know. Like this, if Ben's limitation starts going down, we could start seeing a lot of Wildcat with a lot of offensive power. Round 6, 175 overall pick, Sutton Smith. Offensive linebacker,
outside
linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Apologies, Northern Illinois, man. Tell me about this, man.
I love this pick. Round 6, man. This guy is undersized. He's only stands at about 6 foot tall, but this guy does nothing but make plays. Yeah. I mean, you could say, he goes to school at Northern Illinois, man. How much can he really be doing? This guy led the NCAA in sacks, I believe the last 2 years. I know for sure last year. This guy is making plays all over the field. He was one of 2 players to finish with at least 10 sacks in each of the last 2 seasons. And the only other guy to do that was first-rounder Montez Sweat out of Texas A&M. So this guy is in elite company there, and you're getting him in the 6th round. So, like I said, like I talked about the size, there's question whether he has the size to be a pass-rushing linebacker. His hands are kind of small. He's not got the longest arms. But this guy, he's a football player. You're not expecting him to go out there and out-athletic somebody. You're not expecting him to out-power somebody. He's just going to beat you down, run you down like a football player does. Old school outside linebacker. It's just going to get to the ball and make plays. And he's not got a lot of pressure on him either. But I do see this guy possibly giving Bud Dupree a run for his money. And then I don't want to butcher the fella's name. The guy we drafted out of Toledo last year, I think he's number 92. I think they call him Oli or something like that. Oli Agdegini. He's also another guy that I think is going to have a good impact. But this guy here is going to make plays on the special teams side of the ball, and he's possibly even going to make a difference on the defensive end. You just never know. He can make splashes all over the field.
Yeah, literally, man. I'm excited because when I see sacks, I'm ready to see
it's
how
Pittsburgh, baby. You got to get some sacks.
Man. I'm telling you, this defense, man, John, this defense is something to look out for. 192 overall pick, Isaiah Buggs, defensive tackle, Alabama. This is another steal. This is definitely another steal. I'm just eager to see how he transitions with the defensive line and, the leadership, Hayward and company. I'm ready, man.
I mean, he's
of
got
course,
a lot.
it might. Of course, he has a lot of guys, ahead of him.
Oh,
Don't get me
yeah.
wrong. So, but the Alabama in him is going to allow him to compete.
Yeah, man.
Big Pooh is his nickname.
Yeah, Big Pooh, baby. But
Pooh.
you talking?
I can see it now, John. Imagine Heinz Field, sack, Pooh. You already know. That's how they do.
Hey, man, that's lit right there.
Yeah,
but let me tell you a little bit about his Isaiah Buggs, baby, a.k.a. Big Pooh. He's played a little defensive end in college, and he played at Alabama, man. So he's got Saban above him. He's got a lot of people in his ear. This guy was probably highly touted coming out of high school. Like I said, he played a little defensive end. He played a little D tackle. He's 6'3", 306 pounds. And like with all of these later round picks, they're adding depth to the roster. They're not expected to do a heck of a whole lot. You come in there and make a couple plays, make a couple splash plays, you're already earning your worth as a 6th round pick, okay? And he's behind guys like Javon Hargrave. You got Stephen Tuitt, Cameron Hayward on the defensive line.
Captain, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, this guy can slide right in there as like a secondary defensive tackle. He's a good talent at the 6th round pick, man. You get anybody from Alabama in the 6th round, that shows you how much talent they're putting in this draft, man. But like I said, he's a good base. He's got a strong lower half of his body. I know there was a couple of personal issues at Alabama with him and Saban and some of the coaching staff, but he's a grown man now. He's making grown man's money. I think he's going to make grown man decisions, to be honest with you. Yeah. And with a name like Big Pooh, we're going to mention this man's name a lot, I believe, down the road. But right now he's just adding depth, and that's all he's got to do. So I mean, I'm excited about it. This is just another pick, man, that I love. And what's your thoughts about it, Mark?
Honestly, like I said, Big Pooh is that man. Like, honestly, it's gonna come down to him, taking this, being a pastor, necessarily, and learning from guys like Hayward and company. So I'm really excited to see. I'm not too much in tune with how like his play would translate over to, the NFL, but I mean, we're just gonna have to see because like it's kind of, we don't know how none of these guys really will play until the first preseason game and training camp and things like that. So plus they have to make the roster cuts as well. So we got a lot to see. Hey, sticking in round 6, the 207th overall pick, Ulysses Gilbert III, linebacker out of Akron. This is another good stud. I mean, 359 tackles in 51 career games. Like, you did the math. That's
about 7-8 tackles a game. And I know I'm going to sound like a broken record when I say this, but I love this pick too, man. Round 6, Ulysses Gilbert III out of Akron, man. Like you said, 359 tackles in 51 games. This just shows that this man's all over the field. Like we talked about, people are going to say, "Oh, it's in Akron." Hey, man, LeBron's from Akron, so this guy may have a little bit of athlete in him, So I'm just saying, this guy Ulysses, you got a name like Ulysses, man. You're gonna be taking names everywhere, okay? The Steelers' effort to build out their linebacker core has been well documented. Adding Gilbert, add Bush in the first round. This guy's gonna be paired with him. They might even be roommates in rookie camp. You never know, a couple rookies coming in there. They might be well known together. You still got Matakevich on the roster out of Temple, similar to this guy, made a lot of plays in college. So, yeah, at this point in the draft, it's best to consider Gilbert probably just a special teams guy.
Yeah.
But he can really develop into a defensive contributor when you look at the numbers. When you got 7, 8 tackles a game in college, man, you're just consistently putting the work in. And I really like this pick, man. I think he's going to be a good splash play kind of guy, make a lot of difference on special teams.
Yep, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Like I said, him and Bush are going to be together a lot probably, and they're going to work and learn from each other.
And
so
compete.
compete. So I really love this pick, man. What do you think about it?
Yeah, honestly, like you said, I don't want to sound like a broken record as well, but it's just adding more depth, and I believe that this could add depth to the special teams because that's what we need. We can't have, break-offs of 50-yard gains and, net gains of negative, 5. So it's going to break down to adding depth within the right places. And when your number's called, you have to be ready to step up and play some Steelers football because we got to get back to the old ways, man. We have to get back to the old ways and making steps, drafting guys like these out of Akron and, out of Michigan State and company. I believe that the Steelers are really in the new wave of rebuilding necessarily. So
rebuilding, but still being competitive. In the same because they still got the talent to win the division. So I wouldn't call it a complete overhaul or anything, but you're just adding talent to guys rounds 1 through 7. Moving on, you're going to control both sides of the ball, man.
You have to
control the trenches, just like this next pick.
You have to definitely with guys like Lamar Jackson in the AFC North and Baker Mayfield with his firepower offense. Like that's his. I know it's the Steelers talking. You guys are like, why did you mention the Browns? But we had to draft guys like this so we can keep up with these young guys because this is really the North is necessarily up for grabs, honestly, but it has to go through Pittsburgh still without doubt. So, but the last pick, round 7, 219th pick overall, Derwin Gray, offensive tackle, Maryland. This is more to add more depth, protect Big Ben, 6'4", 320 pound. Hey, he may end up as a guard. So
yeah, I mean,
he can learn from Castro. So
yeah, a lot of guys seen this player as possibly going in the 5th or 6th round too. But Derwin Gray, man, like you said, he's probably going to move from tackle to guard, 6'4", 320 pounds, a mountain of a man. The Steelers have really good history of offensive linemen. You think of guys like DeCastro and Villanueva, Pouncey, Gilbert and Foster. I think we traded, was it Gilbert to Arizona this offseason. So this guy could possibly step into that role, play a little bit behind those guys. They're likely to view him as a swing player on the offensive line, kind of do a little bit of everything, which not only is going to increase his overall value, but is going to increase the likelihood that he's active on game day. So, yeah, I'm not going to see this guy as a potential practice squad guy or anything like that. Like I said, he projected to be a backup. He may make a little special teams contribution on field goals to give us a little extra blocking up front. And granted, he makes the team, which I think he will be. He's going to be on the roster for Sundays. I really like it, man. In the 7th overall, or round 7, you get a I'm sorry.
No, you're good, man.
You get to round 7, man, and you fill all your holes and your draft board's complete. And you get to round 7, you're like, man, this is a big dude from Maryland, 6'4", 320 pounds. To add some depth to our O-line, might as well send it in, boys. We'll take Derwin Gray all day.
And, it's crazy because I asked my friend Max Borderswoggle, who's currently quarterback at University of Maryland, and this guy's a good pick for Pittsburgh, man. This is a good pick. Shout out Bordy as well. So, hey, man, any more things in regards to Steelers talk, draft, draft predictions, late,
right?
Like, any seasons right here with Steelers talk. We got you covered, man. We got you covered. So.
And I'm going to grade this draft as an A, Mark. I think this is one of the better drafts in the NFL this year. Any team, I really don't think, put together the 1 through 7 rounds like the Steelers did. They added in every place that they needed it. They have depth. They have talent at the top. You got guys that are going to make an immediate impact. Bush on the defensive end. Johnson's going to make an impact. Lane could possibly be the best corner in the draft.
He might start.
He might Never know. Then you got Benny, man, Zach Gentry, Sutton Smith, Isaiah Buggs, Ulysses Gilbert III, and Derwin Gray. Man, I love it. A+. I don't know. Yeah, if there's A+, man. I love it all. There's not anything here that I'm negative about whatsoever. But yeah, man, I'm just really excited to get this season rolling. And you talk about some undrafted, man.
Yes, sir, man.
Some undrafted guys. We did get a punter and a kicker
exactly.
in our undrafted signees. So, Boswell, you might want to watch out there, big fella, because you may have somebody creeping up on you here in the off season. So, but yeah, what do you think, Mark? What grade would you give this Steelers draft if you're looking at it rounds 1 through 7?
Yes, I would go around the A range, just given the fact that I was looking at each need, and I was really hesitant about giving the A because in the past Steelers they made some questionable decisions. But as soon as we were in Nashville, Tennessee, and we seen that the Steelers were in the top 10, drafting out, they traded their pick up, with Denver, I was just surprised. And I'm like, you know what? This is a bold move. This is, hey, we're going full force and we're ready to make a change. And that really excited me as a fan. And you should have seen the – hey, y'all, I should have seen the faces on myself, John, and Junie's face. Right. We were hyped. Everyone was like, oh, my God, why you guys so hyped? No, they don't understand that we got a beast coming. We got a beast coming to town.
And the Steelers don't usually do that kind of thing.
No, they don't. And the fact – I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But briefly – notice that was another chess move because guess who was going right after us? Cincinnati Bengals.
Right.
And they were going after him without doubt. You could tell me they weren't, but they were going after him because they're playing that scumbag of Burfitt. Yeah, but I was really excited off that, and I believe they matched the tempo. So when they made that move, they were, hey, we're going to get killers. We're going to get killers on the defense that are going to get to Mayfield and company and Brady and etc. So, hey, I'm ready. A+ for me as well, man.
And, man, when it comes to the pick of Bush, man, like you said, we only gave away our first-round pick. We gave away our second-round pick, which we added so much depth later on. The second-round pick really didn't matter much. And we gave away a pick next year. I think it's a third-round pick. So, if Bush develops into the kind of player that everybody's projecting him to be, Louis Riddick said he's still the draft at 10.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love the pick. I love the guy. And, yeah, he said if we can one-up Cincinnati any day of the week, I'd love to do it. Like I said, this is something that Steelers don't normally do. They don't ever move up. They're kind of complacent with, like, we're the successful team. We'll stay at 20 and we'll get our good, solid value guy. But, no, they're like, no, the Browns are getting better. The Ravens are young, got the best offense, probably youngest, fastest offense in the league. The Bengals are going to be the Bengals. They're going to be there. They may not be there. So it's just like we got to get better. We got to take a step forward. So let's move to 10. Let's draft this prolific linebacker who's going to be the anchor of our defense for years to come. And I loved it, man. And there were so many different people there were Steelers fans in Nashville that wanted this to happen. And you can check that out on the YouTube video on Talk It Up Sports' YouTube page, Webby Web. Go view that, man, because it was a time. And I loved it. Being there with my guys, man, it was awesome. And you see Junior Riddle in a cowboy hat and some cowboy boots, man. What else would you ask for?
Yeah, John, you pretty much said everything right there, man. And like I said, it's been great. And hey, Steelers Talk is just now getting started, man. You guys stay tuned, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel at Talk It Up Sports, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Hey, until next time, go ahead and leave a comment though if you have any questions for us or want us to talk about anything within the AFC North or Steelers Talk. Because hey, we're very transparent with that. So hey, until next time, we're out.
Here we go.